embrace the freedom of summer while still continuing to foster a love of learning through engaging activities. Welcome to Epic Mom Life. I am your host, Kara Peterson. This show is sponsored by The Possum's Tale, a unique book adventure for your 6 to 12-year-old child. Let's jump into today's show. It is summer break, not brain break. Embrace the summer vibes and create a homeschool learning routine this summer so your child won't even realize they're learning. As the weather heats up, it can be a challenge to create a summer routine that includes learning. The children are excited about summertime activities and a break from school. You are worried about summer slippage. I put a link in the notes. You need to be able to intertwine fun and learning in a way that your children might not even notice those educational bits. With these 7 creative strategies, you can build a routine that can spark curiosity, ignite imagination, and make learning a natural part of your family's summer rhythm. 1. Plan ahead. While you want to prevent that summer slippage and help your child grow educationally, your child is looking at the upcoming summer as a grand vacation. I love those natural or impromptu learning moments. Often those are the ones that are the most powerful or impactful. However, let's face it, you're tired at the end of the year. And if you don't make vacation plans that are purposeful and that are on the calendar, even your vacation probably won't happen. The summer's just going to slide by. The same is true of educational goals. Planning is what holds a successful summer learning routine together. Your summer vacation journey begins with scheduling lessons. I use that very lightly. Setting a schedule and organizing your needed materials. 2. Setting goals. Education during the summer looks much different than it does during the traditional learning year. However, it is still important for you to establish what exactly you want your child to work on or learn or accomplish this summer. One of my favorite concepts for summertime learning is leave and learn. You can determine how many planned trips you want to make this summer. So what exactly does this mean, or what does this look like? If you leave the house once a week and go close by to where you live, what do you want your child to learn from this trip? You're going to leave the house and go somewhere with a specific goal that your child learns something at your destination. So if you know your goals for the summer, and for each child that may differ, you will more easily be able to determine the reason for the leave and learns, where you should go, and what you want your child to get out of the visits. Here are some ideas. If you don't really have any ideas for summer goals, you're like, wow, I just got through the year. I'm just not ready for a summer goal. That sounds so big. Here's some good, easy summer goals. Maintain current knowledge. Summer slippage is a real thing. So if your main goal is just to make sure that your children do not have to repeat information next year, that's a great goal. Many people hope to prevent summer slippage. Read regularly. Reading helps build vocabulary, improves focus and concentration, and can improve analytical skills. Reading is really important. It also has well-being benefits. It is said to reduce stress and help bring calm. I'll have a research link for this in the notes, although I have to confess, I think this completely depends on what you're reading. Sometimes what I'm reading isn't calming me down. It's kind of stressing me out. I like to read thrillers sometimes. You can help your child love to read with a special book nook. There's a link for that. Or a fun reading tracker to help keep them engaged and accountable. You can also form a summer book club for kids. This gives your kids, who are social animals usually, a fun reason to read because they're going to be able to get together and talk about it. Also be sure to check out your local library because they will almost always be having a reading challenge, and they'll be having a lot of events this summer. Write regularly. Writing is great for boosting critical thinking and problem-solving skills. It helps memory retention, and it encourages creativity and imagination. Link for that. These are all fabulous. But the reality, the cold, hard reality is at this time, your child must show a proficiency in writing in school. If you're interested in knowing my thoughts on, well, or what my research showed about should we continue to teach writing in school due to AI, check out the link in the notes for that article. If your child has difficulty knowing what to write, I suggest using prompts this summer. There's a link for that too. Writing prompts are also much more fun and engaging. They are also an informal type of writing. A lot of kiddos are intimidated by writing because they're worried about the grading of it and all of the rules to it. Writing prompts are just free writing. Another fun idea is to get your child a pen pal. I know that's so old-fashioned. This can be a family member or a friend they already know that lives far away. It can be all kinds of people, but the idea is the old-fashioned writing. They also love receiving something in the mail. That's a fun thing when you go out to the mailbox and there's something in there for you. So that can also encourage writing. DIY story kits. Allow your child to assemble their own personalized theater. They can have props, costumes, backgrounds, anything to show what they have written so that the family or everybody else can enjoy it in an actual theatrical way. You can have them illustrate their writing. Encourage your children to illustrate their stories or writings, which will then, in turn, if they're of the artistic bent, will encourage them to write more. Isolate and grow. Identify a subject or concept your child finds challenging and find different ways to learn this over the long break. You may have been doing this with activity sheets designed specifically to target specific skills over the year. And if this did not work, see if you can find units that are not necessarily school related that your child will enjoy, or go to places that reinforce these needed concepts so that you can instead experience them. I have created a themed unit that goes with my book, The Possum's Tale, designed specifically for summertime learning or spring break when you have a little bit of chunk of time that you can do it. It can help with the isolate and grow. It can help with the reading. It can help with the writing. Helps with language arts, reading comprehension. It can also help when you just want kids to maintain over summer because it works on certain skills. And I have SEL or social emotional learning in all of them. So it also helps with the help them be human part. Love the unlovable. What is that? If your child really just doesn't love a certain subject in your traditional setting, whether you're homeschool or whether you're regular school, you have a traditional way that you're teaching this particular topic. However you are teaching this, see if there is a completely different way to see it, to teach it, to experience it, to have an impact on you, something like that. The National Park Passport. I have a link to that. Those books are great for this. I love this. In that article, I actually cover lessons you can do in almost any subject using the national parks. That's a completely different way of teaching. Challenge the board or advanced. What is something your child finds super easy? What is something that your child is missing, or simply because they find it so incredibly boring? So it's not that they can't do something, but maybe they find something really, really boring, and so they're not really paying attention. So they're kind of missing some kind of information. Find a way to allow your child to really go deep and make this topic or subject challenging and interesting. I love poetry. I know a lot of people just don't love poetry. I found a way to actually do a 4-week unit with 8th graders, and they loved poetry. So you have to do it a different way, right? If we just read poems and analyzed them, that's just not very much fun. I had to find a different way to do that. Work on being human. You were thinking back when I talked earlier, what in the world does she mean, work on being human? Because this is really odd. I am aware the second I bring up social emotional learning, SEL, and there's going to be a link in the notes, that many people think of things that it isn't. SEL is not a tool that is used to push any kind of political agenda. It's actually been around since like 1979. Read the article. It is only 5 things. It is self-awareness, identify your own emotions, self-management, regulate your own emotions and your behaviors, social awareness, demonstrate empathy and understanding, relationship skills, practice teamwork and collaboration with all kinds, responsible decision making, identify, analyze, solve, consider, and evaluate a problem. Help your child focus on their SEL skills this summer. I have a link for you in the notes that is 30 SEL activities that you can do at home, and it's absolutely free. 3, set a schedule. Regular routines are helpful. We all like to know what to expect. Have you ever heard the thing when somebody says, you know, we really need to talk? Everybody goes, because we don't know what to expect. It's like we have no idea what's coming. Well, obviously, if you set a schedule and everybody knows what to expect and that makes it easy, if you go on a camping trip, well, that schedule is going to change. It's easier to change something you have already set than it is to try to get people to do something when you don't have a set schedule. This is where you can have time in that schedule this summer for age-appropriate chores, link in the notes, or learning to eat healthy, and time for preparing meals together, link in the notes. Meals that kids can cook so that you can teach your children those much-needed adulting skills. You can also schedule regular reading and or writing time. I feel every single age, I don't care if they're 3, I think that they should be able to read for 15 minutes a day. You can be reading to them at 3, but they should be able to sit there for 15 minutes looking and interacting with a book. With older children, bump it up to 30 minutes. You should absolutely be requiring your 6th or 7th grader to be reading for 30 minutes a day. One of the most important points to remember when you are creating your schedule is to leave a lot of room for downtime. It's the summer. It's supposed to be fun. Let your kids schedule time to meet up with friends, play in the yard, go to the pool, whatever it is they do. So you might schedule all of your chores, all of your reading time, unless reading time is a bedtime activity, which is fine. You just move that to the night. All of the chores, all of the things they have to get done for the summer. And summertime learning may take 20 minutes a day. It might not take a whole lot, right? But that's all done. If they wake up at, say, 8 in the summer, that might all be done by 8:45. It's not like this has to be a big deal. It's not like we're doing mini school. We're just scheduling, this is what we'll be doing, blah, 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 blah. And then you have until 3:30 free to schedule on the calendar so that I know where we're going other than Tuesdays, which will be leave and learn days. Then I know if I need to drive you somewhere or whatever, so schedule the days you want to go play with Sally, or, you know, we're going to the pool or whatever, and then we come back and we prepare for dinner as a family, or that kind of thing, or we have family game night, or whatever you're going to be doing. It sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like micromanaging. But if you plan, like I said, every Tuesday is a leave and learn day, and you schedule it, then when you look ahead on your calendar and you see where you can go, and you're at the beginning of the summer, like even if you do this before school gets out, you know, then you can say, oh, look, this is what I want to accomplish every week. And if every Tuesday we're going to be going here, and you can look at where you want to go. And you can see if the places are even open on Tuesdays, because if the third week of June you'd planned on going to the car museum, and it's not open on Tuesdays, it's only open on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, then you need to reschedule to make it that week on a Thursday. 4, outdoor learning. It's summer. We need to get outside, and we don't want our kiddos on their devices all the time anyway. So we want to get this patterned in them to be out. So we're going to step outside and embark on a journey of discovery. The world all around you can ignite your child's curiosity, which in turn causes your child to ask questions. Questions lead to learning. See how amazing that is? You didn't have to do a thing. Well, you had to get them outside. And for some people, that's going to be a lot harder than others. Being outside also provides a different way to socialize. They're going to explore their surroundings and they're going to interact with their world in a completely different way. Their knowledge is going to be through hands-on experiences and immersive engagements. So this is going to be fun. Because remember, we're looking for a departure from regular routine and a fun way to experience the world. But we still do want to learn something this summer. Here are some ideas for close-by outdoor learning, not for like you have to drive super, super far. Botanical gardens, wildlife sanctuaries, agriculture or dairy farms, geological or rock formations, outdoor art or sculpture parks, the planetarium. I know you're going to say that's inside, but you get to see what the outside looks like really, really, really far away. Zoos. Now, depending on where you live, because remember this isn't going to be very far away, the coast, the wetlands, the forest, the desert, that kind of thing. 5, field trips. The beauty of homeschooling is much of your learning is already done on an experience and learn model. For example, when children are learning about farms in agriculture or dairy in health, they can visit these types of places. Usually field trips, especially during the school year, coincide with whatever is being taught. I love this model. It is called cross-disciplinary or integrated learning. There are many great places to visit. However, that teach your child valuable skills and lessons that do not necessarily fit into your regular curriculum. Summer is a great time to go and visit these. Summer field trips are etched onto your child's memory as highly entertaining and meaningful times that are spent with the family, because sometimes during the year we don't have a whole lot of family time that isn't go here, do this, do that, go here, this sport, that band, this kind of thing. So here are some ideas for some fun field trips. Science museums. Oh my heck, there are all kinds of science museums. Isn't just one. There's a million different kinds. History museums, art studios, food tours or cooking classes, library and their summer events, music or theater, festivals, car shows. There's all kinds of them. These are just some that I listed. 6, arts and crafts. The summer months provide a perfect opportunity for your child to immerse themselves in a creative world of arts and crafts, but I want it to be bigger than that. I don't want this to just be a summertime where you're painting on paper plates or that kind of thing. This is a time where you can actually do something that is artsy craftsy, but it's big. This is a big, big deal, and I'm gonna provide your research link for you in the notes. But this is a big deal, and the summertime is where your child can challenge themselves with a long-lasting creative endeavor. This is where research has been done on the benefits of delayed gratification for children and what it can teach them. We no longer live in any kind of delayed gratification world. Everything is like you click it and bing, click it and bing, everything pops up. I got a like, or everything is right now. So this is actually one of the greatest things that you can teach your child, and it just kind of goes by, it just slides by. We don't even think about it because it's not part of our world anymore. So here are some examples, and remember to read the research. Here are some examples of arts and crafts that may take more time than just one sitting to accomplish. And I went from like ones that you would do in like 2 steps, or ones that could be drawn out to ones that are actually long lasting. Clay sculptures, a nature collage, paper mache, tie-dye, nature wind chimes or mobiles, knitting, crochet, sewing, quilting. And then if you really want to explore this, and I so hope you want to explore this. This is one of my favorite learning opportunities you can do during the summer. Go to the hobby store, or I don't know, there's all kinds of places, but hobby stores are great. Your material stores often have them. But go and look under their art boxes selection, their art kits. I don't know what else to call them. And you're looking for things like they can create stained glass windows or stained glass creations or mosaics or hook rugs, all kinds of things like this. What you're not looking for is the friendship bracelets. Those are just going to bead really quickly and be done. You're looking for the things that a hook rug takes probably a week to create. You're looking for something that they have to keep coming back to. I didn't even include in this list, but puzzles. Puzzles, if you have a young child of say 7 years, a 250-piece puzzle might take them quite a bit. So look at the pieces and the age and that kind of thing and the size, and see if they have to keep coming back to it. And I'll have a link for the power of puzzles in the notes. 7, science experiments. Science is literally all around you. And now I'm going to make my confession. I do not love science. However, I totally love kids. And I love their expressions and their faces. And you can get almost any kind of kid, any kind of learner. I don't care if they're visual, audio, kinesthetic, any kind of learner. If you have something that is going to happen. So if these children are going to be able to witness a scientific phenomena, they are almost always sitting with rapt attention waiting for this to happen. They're excited. They want to be there. They want to be the first on the scene to see this something. So whether it's a volcano exploding or a bottle cap flying, or my oldest son came home when I think he took AP chemistry when he was in 11th grade, and so many of his classes were academic. And I always asked him, if you've read any of my previous articles or listened about the 3 fingers, and one of his fingers that day was like, "Mom, in chemistry today, we all stood around and held hands, and we had a jolt of electricity go through our hands." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was one of the coolest things I've done in chemistry in so long, because so many of the other things are more academic, but this is something they got out of their seats, they experienced, it was a group thing." And the teacher was very personable, and he joked around. He's like, "Well, it shouldn't electrocute you, but you will feel something." But all of those high schoolers, and you associate sometimes high school kids with kind of being numb or kind of checking out. Oh my gosh, these high schoolers were all standing in a circle holding hands. So kids really like to experience science. So here are some ideas for you to incorporate in your science in your summer routine. And all of these, just Google the name, because I'm sure there's a million different ways. They're probably all very similar, but there's different ways so that you can, some might be YouTube, some might be written, so that you can figure out the best way for you to get them. Density, homemade lava lamp. Layered liquids. I actually looked this up because I wanted to make sure that I understood this, but you can take different liquids and put them into, like, say, a mason jar, and depending on the, I'm going to mess up how to say it, but I can spell it, viscosity, but I think it's VIC, but the weight of the liquid basically is how the jars will end up ordering themselves, how the liquids will end up ordering themselves in the jars. Dancing raisins. I thought this was really odd, but you can put raisins into a liquid, and for some reason they won't stay on the top or stay on the bottom. They'll kind of like keep moving around. Magnetism. A DIY compass, a magnetic racing car, and a magnetic scavenger hunt. At first this sounded really cool, but basically what this is they just go around the house finding things that are or are not magnetic. chemical reactions, invisible ink, color-changing milk, and borax crystal snowflakes. Machines, DIY pulley system, elastic band-powered helicopter, and a paper spinner. I have total faith in you as a parent that with a dash of creativity and careful planning, you can craft a routine that feels more like an adventure than a chore. Embrace the freedom of summer while still continuing to foster a love of learning through engaging activities. The quote this week, I sure wish he'd hurry up and get back, 'cause we got a whole summer's worth of best friend fun to make up for. Mater, Cars 2. If you are hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, I want to send you a huge thank you. Please leave me a comment or review and share with other moms you know. Get in touch in the comments or on Kara's social media networks. See you next week for a new episode.